Welcome back to Packs and Picks. Today I'm going over the third seal deck that I made for the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Like usual, I'm not going to be going over every card in the pool here. If you're curious what we opened in our 6 packs, I did post some shorts earlier this week going over every single card in the pool. I will be going over a handful of the cards though as we go through the deck that I ultimately ended up with. So let's talk about the deck. I wanted to start off this time with what I didn't end up with, and that was red-green dinos. But I felt like the pool had enough of them that it was worth mentioning. There's a decent little dinosaur package this time around. So I just wanted to set that up to show you one of the options for the pool that I saw this time around. So yeah, it's red-green dinos. You've got some good options, 2 copies of Thrashing Brontodon, which I really like. So 3 mana, 3/4 dinosaur. Also got a Belligerent Yearling, which I think is pretty decent. So play this early and then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger with all the dinosaurs that you play. A couple of combat tricks in the form of Watley's Final Strike. And we've got Natali's Favor in here as well. And then also just at the top end, we do have some bigger dinosaurs that we can ramp up into. So we've got Panicked Altasaur here. And then we've got a Seismic Monstersaur if we don't need to use it for mountain cycling early in the game. So a good little red-green package. There weren't quite enough playables in red and green to make the full 23 cards in the sealed deck. So I think I would end up splashing for blue and get some of the Explore synergies out of blue in this as well. Like we do have a couple Seeker of Sunlights in the pool here. So I would go to blue to get a couple more of the Explore synergies, a couple of the blue merfolk that explore. We did get a Nikonzeal Current Conductor in the pool, so I would probably splash for this as well if I were to go with the red-green build this time around. So that's kind of the big other option, I think, out of this pool. So what did I end up with? I did build another blue-black deck, so I'll go ahead and set that one up here. And I went that way because I saw a lot of Descend 8 strategies coming out of the pool this time, more so than in previous pools. And so that's really what drew me towards doing blue-black again. All right, so like I mentioned, it's blue-black. We've got lots of Descend synergies, good enablers, and that's what pulled me over to blue-black. So what are some of the things that I like the look of? Inverted Iceberg. So comes down early, helps mill you, helps fill the graveyard, and then it just sits there waiting for the end game when it can flip over into the Iceberg Titan. So I do like this card for helping with Descend. We also got 2 copies of Waterlogged Hulk. This is a card that I really like the look of. Not sure how great it is overall, but I feel like it's a good performer for me. So mills a card and then eventually turns into a 4/4 that if you do have that Descend 8 is unblockable, which I really like. We got 2 of those in the pool. We also got at the top end of the curve, we've got an Uchbenbach, so a big beater up at the top end, which I do like to have something that can maybe help close out the game. Also with the Descend 8 strategy, so it can come back if we've got enough permanents in our graveyard. We also opened 2 Starving Revenants. So 4/4 for 4. Gives us some card selection, helps fill the graveyard if we need it to. And then also has that Descend 8 where it's going to drain the opponent. So I do like this card. It does feel though that like it softens the blow a little bit if you, on that first trigger, if you hit Descend 8, then you're only losing functionally 2 life. So I do kind of like that. Whether or not it's going to be too slow, though, in the games, we'll have to wait and see. But we do have 2 Starving Revenants in there as well. And also we have some good small creatures in the early game. So a couple creatures that I like just to help us gum up the ground until we can get our Descend strategy online. Oaken Siren, 1/2 flyer. We also have Waterwind Scout, 2/2 flyer, makes a map token. We also have some interaction with our opponent in the form of Braided Net and Lodestone Needle. So just some ways to get some early creatures out that are also good, but also ways to interact with our opponent. That being said, I do feel like one of the gaps in this deck is removal overall. So we do have some ways to interact with like the lodestone needle and the braided net, but as far as removal itself, all I have is a dead weight, and we've got to join the dead here as well. So if there is a gap in this deck, I do see it being straight up removal. There is one card that I didn't put in the deck, and that is Tarian's Journal. So 2-mana artifact, helps you draw a card, but you can also pay 2 and discard your hand to transform it into the Tomb of Aclazotz, where then you can start casting creatures from your graveyard. So I do see what they're trying to do here. They're trying to give you a way to dump your hand into your graveyard, really get to that Descend 8, I feel like a lot quicker than maybe you could otherwise. And then you can start getting those creatures that you maybe dumped into your graveyard back out onto the battlefield. Whether or not how this plays out, I don't know if it would actually be good enough for the deck. It just seemed a little bit too wishy-washy to hope that it would actually work out the way we wanted it to. So this one's in the sideboard for now, but I'd be curious to hear if your thoughts on Tarian's Journal and if this is worth making it in the main deck. I could easily find a spot for it if we do find that Tarian's Journal does have a slot. And then as far as the mana base goes, we've got some Hidden Lands and a Promising Vein to help with the mana base. And that's the deck right there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the deck and the pool. Is this a better version of the blue-black deck that we had in our last sealed deck video? Do you like the looks of the green-red Dino Shell better? Should I put Tarian's Journal in the main deck? Let me know down in the comments. And stick around as we've got one more sealed deck to build in the Lost Caverns of Ixalan right around the corner. I'll see you there.